Another year, another Call of Duty game. Infinite Warfare is coming, and as per usual, people are shitting all over Activision's latest new baby left, right and centre. But this time, other than being shat on by the fans, Call of Duty has received more flack than ever before. Crazy amounts of flack. And that announcement trailer is literally the most disliked gaming video ever. And there's a fair few reasons for this. So probably one of the main reasons for all the hate and negativity is, of course, the game's setting. Once again, COD is going into the future. And over the past couple of years, it's become fairly obvious that the majority of its fanbase don't want all the exo jumping, war running, thruster packing stuff from the newer titles, as they want to go back to the past or keep it with the present. The games have become extremely fast paced, maybe a bit too fast for a lot of people, and after seeing comment after comment spread across the World Wide Web, it's pretty clear that most of the Call of Duty fanbase actually want the older, slower paced gameplay back when times were simpler, and they weren't a load of new mechanics to contend with. Now, Infinity Ward are in a bit of a catch-22 really, because if the franchise was to move backwards, a lot of people would then complain that the game would be too slow compared with the other recent titles like Advanced Warfare and Black Ops 3. And it's obvious that there's a lot of fans out there that like that speed and aggression that comes along with the newer titles, down to how popular they are, and down to how popular the smaller maps are, which are generally a lot more chaotic. That said, fans have been crying out to stop the transition into the future, as they want to keep it more traditional and relatable. Now, although fans have been screaming at Activision to not go into the future, they've only gone and done it anyway. But probably for a few good reasons. A futuristic setting would open up a whole new array of weapons, items, gadgets, and generally cool stuff for gamers to play around with. New mechanics could be implemented easier, which is something that people have moaned about for the past so many years, as gamers have always said that COD needs to change it up a bit, so that each iteration feels different enough to be worth buying. Something else that people aren't taking into consideration here is that it takes a few years to develop a game. Realistically speaking, Infinite Warfare isn't something that's just been made over the past 4 weeks. It's taken years to create, and production will have started not long after Ghosts was made, back when the whole futuristic theme wasn't hated on as much as it is at the moment. Over time, it's become more apparent that a large chunk of the fanbase don't want to move forwards in time, but of course it was too late to go back, and so production would have carried on. It's not that the fans aren't being heard, it's because the game would have already been under development at the time all the future haters started hating. As a result, Infinite Warfare was born into the world and it instantly became one of the biggest targets to be shot down ever. And that's probably one of the main reasons why a lot of people are dumping all over Infinite Warfare. Not everyone is hating on it, and there are quite a lot of people who want to jump into the future and play with all those new sci-fi toys in space, but there's a hell of a lot that don't and would rather return to a World War II setting or a modern setting. But this nicely leads me over to another factor on why not just Infinite Warfare, but Call of Duty itself is hated on so much, and that finger is pointed at the guys that are running the show, Activision. Ever since Modern Warfare took off and became that worldwide blockbuster we all lost our shit over back in the day, Activision have harnessed all of that momentum they gained and cleverly directed it to boost their Call of Duty franchise, and make it more popular than we could have ever imagined. They quite literally built their own hype train and continued to bash out COD titles yearly, thriving on the success of COD 4. Now, just like any business, they're out to make money, but Activision have always been a bit of a sneaky bunch, as they're not just out to make money, but they're out to maximise their profits as much as possible, even if that means pissing off all of their loyal fans in the process. And the most recent dick move that they've gone and done is of course listening to what their fans want by announcing a COD 4 remaster, but then combining it with the new Infinite Warfare so that you've got no choice other than to buy the new game, if you want to play the other one, laying down a nice pile of money on them both in the process that'll go directly into Activision's huge growing wallet. They've done this for a few reasons that make a fair bit of sense, though it's still going to piss a lot of people off regardless. Activision know that a lot of fans want a Modern Warfare remaster, as they've been pining for one for years, but with Call of Duty being an annual franchise, they've got to live up to that, and bring out a brand spanking new title every year to cater for their fans. Now they know well and good that sales over the years for their latest titles are in decline. People are slowly becoming less and less interested in the series and are moving on to other things, with there being a hell of a lot more competition in the games market at the moment than in the past. Now, because Activision want a new game out every year, they're not just going to bring out a remaster for an old game and leave it there, as technically, it's not a new game. A lot of other Call of Duty players want a new title, and overall, this wouldn't make them as much money, which is where all these ideas stem from in the first place. So to cater for the fans who have been asking for the remaster of Modern Warfare, they've gone ahead and made it along with another new title, Infinite Warfare, to coincide too. But the thing is here, is that if they were to bring out both titles in the same year, this would be a little bit like shooting themselves in the foot, as they'd be in direct competition with themselves. The sales of Modern Warfare Remastered would affect the sales of Infinite Warfare, as some of the fans would go one way and the rest the other, and this would negatively affect them as a whole. So Activision being Activision, they want to maximise their profits, and by adding that remaster onto a special edition of Infinite Warfare, they're not only going to boost sales for both games at the same time, pretty much forcing gamers to buy their new game if they want to play the other, which I'm sure a lot of people out there would do anyway. But they're also not going to be splitting the market and dividing their own profits for each individual game, which would generally result in a lower profit for Infinite Warfare, which they absolutely do not want, as they want the newer title to be as popular and successful as possible, especially as they're going to be competing with a load of other huge shooters in the year too. And this is why they've gone and slapped that COD 4 remaster as a side order for Infinite Warfare. It's a clever move to get more money, but in the process, it's enraged a lot of fans too. Activision have done a fair few other sneaky things like this in the past too, as another recent dick move is the whole inclusion of microtransactions in Black Ops 3. Although they have brought out free weapons and gear which can be obtained for free in online multiplayer, they're masking it all behind a transparent paywall, the supply drop system. Getting supply drops isn't exactly a hard thing to do, as you just have to play the games a shitload to get them. For vanity items and gun camos, this really isn't a big deal as they don't directly affect the game in any huge way. But as for adding new weapons and things that people obviously are really going to want to use, throwing them into the supply drop system is kind of a dirty tactic, as COD fans across the globe are either going to have to sit there and play the game for weeks with the possibility of getting one of the weapons in the supply drop, or lay down a huge pile of real money on supply drops which, just like a scratch card, doesn't even guarantee that you'll unlock them. And people are prepared to literally throw money away at all of these microtransactions with that possibility of gaining a new weapon, just because they watched a video of some YouTuber saying how amazing it is. If directly charging people for in-game weapons isn't bad enough, in a way this is much worse, as you're not only charging your customers extra, but they probably won't even get what they want in return, unless they're totally happy with a couple of camos and a specialist dance move that they'll probably never even use. It's totally possible to get the weapons without even spending anything, but you're going to have to devote your life to COD, playing endlessly to eventually get what you want, unless you happen to be extremely lucky, that is. So in the end, Call of Duty is one of those things that is both hated by everyone and loved by everyone for loads of different reasons. It's become something that people dislike just because of the name, and I'm sure if we did see another title announced instead of Infinite Warfare for this winter, people would still continue to slag it off, just because it's Call of Duty. But at the end of the day, nobody can tell you what you like and what you really want. People are too heavily influenced by each other and follow different people's opinions and form them as their own. If you like where Call of Duty is heading, then that's completely fine. I for one look forwards to seeing all the new futuristic stuff that they're doing, and welcome the new mechanics, locations and themes with open arms. But I know there's a hell of a lot of people out there that don't, and want it to be grounded in what it originated from. Either way, Call of Duty isn't going away anytime soon. So whether you love it, hate it, or pretend to hate it but actually love it, people are just going to have to let it do its thing. As the sad truth is, you can't please everyone, as there's always others out there that are going to hate something that you love. But generally speaking, these are the main factors on why Call of Duty Infinite Warfare and COD as a franchise is hated by so many people. So what are your opinions on Call of Duty Infinite Warfare? Do you like the whole sci-fi stuff that they're doing at the moment, or would you rather see it go back to World War II? Or even a new game set in the present day setting again, made for the current generation? Let me know in the comments. Be sure to give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed the video, subscribe for loads more gaming content, and I'll see you in that next one.